Welcome back to another video. Today we are back to review the next chapter of Chainsaw Man. So Chainsaw Man chapter 127 just came out and I read it and I want to talk about it, of course. I'm very excited. This chapter is actually really nice and really cute, and I think that it's probably, like I said, Fujimoto is once again showing why I love Chainsaw Man and why I like waiting a week every single week for these new chapters. So I'm gonna start. Let's just talk about it. Let's just get into it. So the chapter continues off where it last ended off, where the Fallen Devil made it to Asa's location, and she actually starts to like move Asa from her hiding spot, and she starts falling. And Asa grabs like one of those like little like desk or something, and Yoru's like talking to Asa, trying to like motivate her and telling her to like be careful and stuff like that. And the Fallen Devil gets really close to Asa and actually grabs her head. And she says, "I can tell by the way your muscles move, by the smell of your sweat. Your attachment to life is weak to begin with, no? What truly scares you right now is the shock of the impact, the physical sensation of falling, the darkness of the sky. That's all. Close your eyes, I can promise you a peaceful fall." And Asa's hearing all this, and you know the Fallen Devil's ability, the more that like you are in your mind and thinking like bad thoughts, the more influenced you are. But there's something you're gonna see. You're gonna see. I'm gonna keep talking about it. You're gonna see. You're always like yelling at Asa to like be careful, like telling her like basically like getting out the way, and like she's yelling at her, but Asa can't hear her. Asa only sees the foster mom, her friend, the Justice Devil, her friend that died, and she sees like her cat, and then Asa just lets go. She just gives up. Like she gives up, Yoru screaming, and like Asa begins to drift away. And Asa says, "It's true. I feel so at peace. I won't have to cause trouble for anyone else or get my feelings hurt anymore. I won't have to lie in bed thinking about all the things I did wrong as I wait to fall asleep." It's so sad. Asa, you can definitely tell like Asa's definitely at her breaking point mentally, especially with how her and Denji left off, and then dealing with all this trauma, like all of her trauma being brought back up in this fight, and everything she's ever been upset about, and she's just given up. Like she doesn't care anymore. And we already knew she was at her breaking point like 2 chapters ago when she was talking to Yoru, and how she was telling the truth about how like she's like a coward, and how like she really doesn't think that like she's not, like she basically told the truth to Yoru about how she actually feels, which the Fallen Devil like calls attention to when she says like you're not really like scared of anything. The only thing you're scared of is yourself, like yourself getting hurt, and like talk about how Asa's selfish. And Asa goes on to say, "Oh, but I do have one regret. Even one person, even if it was with only one person, with all my heart, I wish I'd..." And then I think at this moment she's talking about Denji, but then she is interrupted by Denji coming out of freaking nowhere and grabbing Asa like in the air, midair. It is super cool, super cool. And Asa's like very surprised by this, and like saying Chainsaw Man, and then Denji's like saying that like she's heavy and stuff like that, and Asa's trying to like get Chainsaw Man, get Denji to like let her go. And remember that Asa doesn't know that Denji's Chainsaw Man, and Denji's like no, like holding on to her and stuff like that, and Asa's like, "I'm okay with falling, I accept it." And then Denji's like, "Are you nuts?" And then Asa tells Denji, "Life is nothing but pain. Getting made a fool of and getting your expectations up only to be let down, isn't it?" And then Denji is like, "Well, yeah, but like..." And like he is about to continue on, but then they actually start falling in the air, right? And then Denji starts to actually give like Asa advice. He says, "It's like the worse you feel, the heavier you get, but upward. Think happy thoughts." So as we begin to fall up, Denji tells Asa to think of happy thoughts like dogs, cats, and like he keeps like yelling at her about dogs and cats. And as we know, Asa likes cats. At least we know she likes cats, and I'm pretty sure she's cool with dogs, especially after she didn't really get to see the dogs whenever Nayata showed up, because like her mind was already like in like was already got almost mind wiped by Nayata, so she didn't really get to see the dogs. But like I like that Denji, his like happy thoughts for him is definitely like dogs and cats and animals, which we already knew that. And as soon as he says that to Asa starts to stop falling, and then Denji keeps yelling at her, keeps telling her like ice cream, like dogs and cats, and Asa's like getting pissed, and she's like started crying, and she's like telling him like, "Don't make me remember cats." And then Denji's telling her, "I know how you feel, believe me, I've been there." And then Asa's like, "What would you know? No one has it worse than me." And this is crazy because like Asa does have it really bad. Like her trauma's pretty crazy, And I like this, what's gonna happen, because Denji's like one of the only people that can relate to her, because Denji's trauma is pretty nuts. Like, all of part one was just about Denji's trauma. And Denji tells Asa, just when life seems super awesome, as soon as you let your guard down, some crappy thing happens out of nowhere and screws it all up. Right? You know, life isn't all that bad. But day in, day out, all you can remember is the bad stuff. And the disasters keep piling up like a hamburger made of crap, right? And Asa looks at Denji. They like both looking at each other. And then Asa asks Denji, how did you get over that, Chainsaw Man? I haven't. I'm not over it. I got something to live for. Something I look forward to. So much that I'm willing to eat that crap burger. And then Asa asks, what's that? And then Denji says, sex. I want to have sex. Boom. There we go. And then Asa looks at him and just says, ill. And that's the end of the chapter. And this chapter is really, really cute. Like, we know that, like, I really like this chapter because it finally is giving, the meetup that we haven't gotten so far in part 2, which was Denji, Chainsaw Man meeting Asa and them talking for real, like talking. So that's my favorite thing about this chapter, is that, like, I think my theory about how Denji is gonna, like, tell his identity to Asa, and I think that the person from last chapter is Hirofumi, and he's gonna show up and they're all gonna work together like Aki, Power, and Denji used to in part 1. But this chapter is mostly about Denji showing also how much he's grown, and showing like how much that, like, with everything happening to him, everything that happened in part 1, so like sometimes I'll be thinking like, what's Denji's motivation and what keeps Denji going? Because, you know, like when a lot of stuff happens to you constantly, this is in real life or in a show like Chainsaw Man, so sometimes you want to give up, sometimes you just don't want to do it anymore. And Asa's at that point that we all can reach as humans and as people, that like we just want to give up. And I like that, like, Denji is that person that can bring her back to the light of like having purpose, and like telling her like to still be motivated, to not give up, and to find her purpose. And Denji's purpose is like superficial. Like, Denji's purpose is dumb. We always know that Denji has some dumbass purposes, but he didn't say it, but his actual true purpose is to protect Nayuta. I think that's his true purpose, of course. Like, that's the person he cares about. That's the person he's willing to sacrifice anything for. That's like basically like his little sister. And he didn't say that. He said he's doing it for sex. But we know how Denji is. Like, Denji will come up with like small reasons to like do stuff, but he actually has bigger reasons that he's gonna do it. Right now, I think his main motivation is, I think he still wants to be in a relationship with Asa. I don't know how he's going to, considering the deal that he made with Nayuta. But I liked seeing this chapter. I like seeing Denji's thoughts, like his thoughts on what he wants to do, his thoughts on Asa, and Asa's thoughts, because we already knew Asa was at a breaking point. But it's nice to see that, like, she's gonna have motivation after this. I'm assuming, like, after this, like, her and Denji are gonna work together to fight the fallen devil, like I said, and then maybe even Hirofumi will show. But we saw the breaking point on her, and we understand everything about Asa now, everything that makes her the way she is. And I believe this chapter was more like a closing point. I don't think there's like anything else we could really go into detail about her backstory with. I think her backstory is officially over. So I'm expecting next week, the next chapter, to definitely be more action oriented and something crazy. Maybe probably we'll find out who was the person from last chapter. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's Hirofumi, but I really like this chapter. I think it was a really, really good chapter. Like, it like, to some people might seem uneventful because nothing crazy happened. It was more about, it's just more character development. Just these guys, these guys talking. Like, for the first time, being able to talk with, well, it's not really the first time talking about, you know, like Denji as Chainsaw Man, with also not knowing he's Chainsaw Man talking, and it made me happy. I like this chapter a lot, and it's cool that we get to see finally a good thing happen to these characters. Like, it looks like Asa's gonna be really motivated and happy to like find a new goal, especially after what the Chainsaw Man told her. And maybe after this, like, maybe Yoru even sees, and like maybe like they don't even try to chase after Denji anymore, or the Chainsaw Man anymore, and they work together. Like I said, I've been thinking they're gonna work together and stuff, but I don't know how it's gonna work, because Denji still has that deal with Nayuta, and Yoru still wants to like kill the Chainsaw Man. But I think that's everything I want to talk about for this chapter. Like I said, luckily we're on a roll. Like, we're getting Chainsaw Man once a week. There hasn't been another break, and even next week it's gonna be a week It's gonna be next week. We get our next chapter, so I'm very, very excited. Leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more content. That's at that bell, but posting. I'm sorry, my allergies. I said leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and hit that bell, but post it consistently. And let me know what you think about this chapter and about Chainsaw Man, and what you think is gonna happen next week. And I'm gonna see you guys next time. Peace.